Okay, so welcome. We're on our first session on long and strong. What we're looking at during these sessions is issues to do with length. So we're thinking about legs and the fact that they're integrated into the center, and arms and they're integrated into the center, and issues around spine after getting compact. So a feeling of not being as tall and not feeling as mobile through the spine. And also this issue of often, it's not for all of you, but for some of you, and definitely for me, this rounding the shoulders, letting the chest cave in a little bit, and meaning we're closing down the front body. So we're going to be looking at work around that and how we can explore, make some changes, and how that feels in terms of just feeling like we can kind of run in a more integrated way, move in a more integrated way, and find strength beyond kind of just the periphery. Okay, let's just get going. So if we start standing and you choose kind of your happy distance, have a look down and just check whether your toes are going out, whether you've got some external rotation. If you can, just see how it feels to have the toes in front of the heels so you're broadly in line. If that doesn't feel good, then obviously take the toes back out again. Okay, so just lengthen for a moment through the arms and just bring them back down. We're just going to do that once. Relax the shoulders. And just curl the toes up so the weight goes, you feel like a stretch on the balls of the feet, and the weight goes back a little bit more towards the heels, and encourage a little bit more of the whole body feeling like it's floating back more towards the heels. Bring the toes down and just find your new happy kind of equilibrium between the front of the feet and the back of the feet. And that might be no different to where you were before. It might feel lighter on the front of your feet and more heavy on your heels a little bit. Okay, so if you sweep your arms up just initially to shoulder height, with the palms down to start off with, and just get a sense of the feeling in the arms, particularly the upper arms and into the shoulders. And can you sense the engagement of the muscles into the body? We're talking upper back, around the shoulders, the shoulder blades, and kind of here in the front of the above and to the right, the collarbones, and the left, the collarbones. Okay, and then if you're being stretched, just allow the arms to feel extend away from each other and see how that feels. So there you might get, if you're kind of doing a fairly full extension without feeling too uncomfortable about it, then we'll feel a little bit more here, so below into the armpits and into the side of the ribs. So just reminding ourselves that the arms are really integrally connected to the trunk, back and the front, and that's where the support and the strength's going to be. Okay, and then let just the arms come back down. Okay, so then relaxing the arms for a moment. And then sweeping them all the way up, you can have the back of the hands touching for a moment and bringing them down, taking them up, back of the arms, back of the hands touching. So just notice again, as we reach and lengthen upwards, back of the hands just touching, then how that feels in terms of the connection between the arms and the center of the body, back as well as front. Okay, and then back to the level of your shoulders, and then cactus arms, so bending at the elbows. And just having a sense now of how it feels particularly in the upper back and the shoulders. So that sense of stability, hopefully not uncomfortable again, but it feels like, okay, my arms, when I do this, really feel connected into particularly the upper body, but you might feel something going on here. Okay, and again, relieve the tension in the arms. Let it just swing forward and back. Okay, so taking the arms up to shoulder level. So initially with palms down. So what we're trying to do is rotate from the shoulders here. So palms facing towards front as you completely work with the shoulders here, and then palms facing towards the sky. And even more of a rotation if you can cope with that. So shouldn't be drifting out with the chest here. The chest stays in its initial position as the arms open out. So you might get, again, a feeling how it is in the front of the chest, collarbone, and the shoulders, and what that does to the upper back. Okay, and again, relax. Okay, so, excuse me, sweeping one arm out to the side. And as we do the rotation, we've got one hand at the front, just below the shoulder. And we're going to rotate it and see how it feels underneath the hand. So we go from palm down to palm up. And you'll just get used to having that sense of, okay, I can have a sense of something going on in that connection between the arm and the center of the body. You can access the upper back just behind the neck, then do the same again. You might also have that feeling through the rotation. What's going on there? All the work's going on internally into the center. And then relax it. Just move the arms in any way. Okay, and then other arm, hand on the front initially, and do your rotations, making sure that shoulder's turning, if it will. So again, if this is really not your thing, because you've had shoulder injuries in the past, or you've got a crunch shoulder injury, then just keep it in the same place rather than doing the rotation. But you can do the lengthening maybe to get that feeling, and then the upper back as you rotate, as you rotate, as you rotate. And again, just let the arms rest there. So it's just bringing to mind all these connections in the center of the body, whether it be the upper back or the chest or down the side body that connects with the arms. So we can apply and work with all those areas of engagement. It's not just about the arms when working the arms, and we'll be working with the legs next. So if you bring, it might be easier from the side, if you bring one knee up to kind of hip height, and let it go down. So you're just allowing the leg, effectively the upper leg, to straighten, so to be parallel to the standing leg. And if you just take your hand to the top of your leg, kind of hip flexor, and again, just get that sense of what's going on as you lengthen and extend, even though it's not the same as the clarity. I don't think is going to be the same as you get on the arms. You will have a sense of something going on in the belly a little bit as you bring the leg up and let the leg descend. And then let that come back to rest. And then the other side. So on the other side, you can take your hand to your butt and lower back as you bring the knee up and then lower it back into position so it's broadly parallel with the leg before. So again, you'll feel things going on in the butt and the glutes, maybe in the lower back, as you lift and allow the leg to just come back in line. Okay. And relax. So that, obviously we throw in a balance there just to do a little bit of something different, but also we're just really interested in what's going on in this area and the connections that we have through the legs right into center, so that when we run, we can, or walk, or whatever movement, to be honest, we really get a sense that the legs go right into the center, and that we're relying on not just up to the hip, but through the butt and the glutes and through and into the belly. Okay, so we're going to come down and do some more explorations on all fours. So Just this slightly, maybe bring it closer. We'll see how that goes. To adjust again. Okay. Sliding away a little bit there. Okay. So we're on all fours. So we're going to explore a little bit about the arm connection and the leg connections and into the center of the body from this position. So just press the hands into the ground and feel that connection into the arms and the shoulders, the upper back. Might be less easy to feel on the front body, but if you get that, that's great. And then relax it. Tuck the toes under and create a little bit of a hover. So knees come off the floor slightly. So we're going to work a little bit there with strength, obviously, through a number of areas, but we're going to feel it in the core, activating the core, but we're also going to feel that connection of the top of the legs through the hip flexors and into the belly a little bit more, and probably the glutes are going to be activated here as well, so getting that sense of the legs. Okay, so from here, in some ways it's a similar move to what we were doing standing. So just bring your belly in a little bit so that you're creating support for your lower back as you lift one knee off the floor and take the sole of the foot towards the sky. So the knee's just in line with the hip, push through the arms so you're engaged there, and bring that back down and send it back up a few times. So the knee just comes slightly forward from the other knee maybe, and then comes back up. And we're trying to keep in line here, 90-degree angle. And rest, tuck the toes and give the toes a little bit of a rest, a wiggle to release. And then again, slightly engage the belly and second side. So there's a lift and there's a return, a lift and return. Keeping strength through the arms, stability through the arms and the pelvis. Okay. And to rest. Okay, so just a few cat-cow movements for a moment to be sure the lower back feels safe. Take a pause. So we're going to do our diagonals. So we're going to take one leg back. So you need space. Sorry, I didn't say that. One space, take one arm forward and the opposite leg back. So it's a reach. So a little bit like we felt through the arms when we're extending both arms out at shoulder level. We're thinking about heel going back, or someone's pulling our leg, and someone's pulling slightly through the wrist. And we're pushing through the hand on the ground. And we can feel the arm into the body, and we can feel the leg into the body. Yeah, so that might be really clear for the leg, particularly, maybe this time less clear for the arm. And return to base. But you can always come down earlier if it just feels too much. You can have your toes completely untucked here, it doesn't matter. Just pause, and when you feel ready, going to extend through opposite leg. Press down through the hand that's supporting you if you can. Lengthen through the arm, lengthen through the leg. That will help you engage through the belly, and you'll feel, as well as the extension of the arm into the body and the leg into the body, you might feel a little bit of a kind of lengthening stretch through the front body from the armpit extension to the leg. Great. Okay, so we're going to come down onto our belly. But before we do, just get a sense of how connected you feel, or not, between the arms and the center, the trunk, and the legs, and the trunk, and how that feels. So these are strengthening, just in case you haven't noticed. So a lot of work around really getting that sense of core support and strength work done here. So we're going to come onto our belly, and then we're going to take our arms over to one side. So I'm reaching, for me, I'm reaching over to my right. If that's comfortable, I'm going to put my left ear, left side of the head down. But if that's not good for the neck, then you can take it the other way. So decide what's good for you. And you want to lengthen enough through the left arm, or the opposite way to you, what you're going. So if you're going left, it'll be your right arm. If you're going right, it'll be your left arm. Really lengthen it and feel, again, if it's safe in the shoulder, really feel that length, the connection of the arm into the body, and that feeling all the way down the side body, not just into the center, but all the way down the side, probably between the shoulder and the hip, maybe. And breathe into that rather than trying to hold your breath. Okay. And then we're going to go to the other side, just swing around. Same thing, extending if you're comfortable with your head towards, looking towards the top arm. If you like the arm is getting the extension, then go for that. Feel the length, breathe into the stretch. You might feel it more on one side than the other side. So I don't feel it as much on this side compared to the stretch on the other side. Okay. And then you're coming into Sphinx position. Just show you from the front for a moment. So, can't see me. Chase that back a little bit again. So if I'm coming forward, still not ideal, is it? Back and just keep my feet. Okay, so I've got my hands in front of my elbows, and my elbows initially are just below my shoulders. I'm going to take my lower arms out to the side and just see how that feels, and bring it back. And I'm just going to take my shoulders wider than my elbows, lower arms wider than my shoulders, and see how that feels. Okay, so hopefully you kind of got a sense of that. I'm going to twist back to where I was before. Okay, so we'll explore that again. So we're going to initially come back with elbows underneath the shoulders and take the lower arms out wider. Bringing them back initially, and then take the elbows and the lower arms out to the side a little bit. Okay. So now just extend, bend one knee, so you get creating a little bit more extension through the front of the quads, and then extend the other leg and bring that down, so you get a little bit more of engagement and release and length through the front body from the hips down. Okay, so from here, engage the legs. So it's kind of like, can I get my thighs to operate? Can I get my glutes to operate? So a little bit of a squeeze in the bum, a little bit of sense of work going on through the thighs. And that might lift you or it might not, a little bit. And then relax the glutes a bit and the thighs a bit. So this time, you choose where you want your hands, whether you want your arms, elbows underneath the shoulders, whether you want your lower arms more out to the side. There isn't an answer. It's just kind of like what works for you or might work for you. Okay, see how that goes. And then you're going to press down with the hands and the arms, and then it feels like you're pulling from the elbows, which will also pull the pelvis and pubis further forward. You'll get more of a sense, possibly, of work going on in your shoulders, but you might not feel all of that. And come down, let the elbows come out to the side, and just have a break here. So I'm going to come to I'm going to just change my position again, so hopefully it's a little bit clearer. So for some of you, this will be fine. For the people, it might not be the right thing to do. So from here, if you take your hands out, palms down to the side. So I've got my chest slightly off the ground and I'm pressing down now through the hands so the arms are activated, and see how that works. Keep back of the neck long, how that feels to the shoulders. So it can create too much tension. So just see if you can have that sense of pressing, and also a little bit the sense of the arms extending away. It's hard work for most of us. Okay, back to your sphinx position. So we're trying different ways to see whether we can feel greater ease in this position, more of an extension through the belly and an uplift. So we prepared the body a little bit when we were doing the side bend, kind of lateral extension earlier. We're going to go back to that in a moment. Okay, so just as we'll just do something slightly different in between, but it's still working the arms in a similar way that we've just done it. So coming down in order to take the hands to the side of the chest to come up, just need to just check that we're safe in the back here. So just come back onto all fours and see how it feels in the back, whether it feels good, whether it feels uncomfortable anywhere in the lower back. So if you've got some discomfort in the lower back, again, just create a little bit of a cat-cow movement from pelvis and see if that eases it. If there's any difficulty there. And if not, you can just pause and wait for a moment. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to come down just onto we're going to come down effectively like we were before. We're coming down to a pause, but here we've got a bump in the air rather than let the belly down. And I'm just going to creep my hands forward. So I'm going to take one hand to the side and again push it down. Palm on the ground, just push it down a little bit. And feel that connection into the center of the body, shoulder, upper body, and relax. And then try the other side. Pressing down, reaching a little bit, feeling that connection with the front of the arm, back of the arm into support from center. Feeling strong, hopefully, and connected. Great. Okay. So I'm going to go back down into our sphinx position, whichever is your happy position. See how you feel now you come back down, so it's getting more and more familiar. Again, just engage through the legs and the bum, and a little bit of the sense of pulling from the lower arms to get a greater lift. And then from here, you're going to maybe look up for a moment and then looking under. So you're picking your pelvis up as you look under. So you're really just on the center of your thighs and your knees. And then you lower your pubis and you come back and you might look up, push through the forearms. And then come down and pick up the pelvis as you do that. So there's a greater lengthening stretch through the belly here. And then you get a little bit of a relief maybe as you look under and lift the pelvis up. Okay. So we're going to go back to extension to the side. So first side, looking towards, so I'm going to my left and looking at my right arm. I'm stretching and lengthening a little bit more through my right side. Just a couple of breaths here. And then over to the opposite side. Sorry, moving my legs. Legs stay where they were. Okay. And back to Sphinx. How is it now? Yeah, so we're just really exploring how things are going here. And then from there, we bring the chest down lower, and we can bring one leg up to the kind of climber or crawling position to reach down, swap sides, lift the leg, extend, lift the knee, extend. So we look over to the knee on the foot as we raise the leg. So maybe one more time on each side. Then come back into your happy Sphinx position. So this time, no great engagement. There should just be the engagement that is kind of the residue of what you've been doing previously. So there'll be a little bit of engagement going on, but it's kind of more background than you thinking, I need to engage my glutes, I need to work with my arms. It's just kind of like, I just find my place. I'm hoping it's easier for you, but maybe you've just had enough now of all this. Okay, and then coming down and resting the head on the hands, bending one knee and doing the leg circles to relax the body. But also what we're doing here is feeling that same connection. So we can feel the knee, we might feel the thigh bone, we might feel the hip, we might just feel that broad connection, hamstrings, glutes, hip flexor, all sorts of things. So just again, getting used to that idea of the connection between the leg and the center of the body. Go in the other direction. Second leg, doing circuits. Relaxing. So, you know, a lot of this we're doing strong work in order to feel a connection. But you can do softer movements that still give you that sense of an internal connection into the center of the body from the periphery of the leg or the arm. Mainly. We can do that leg at the moment. Or the direction if you've not changed. We're going to be moving onto our back. So hands by the side of the chest so that we can find our way down. Okay. Sorry, feet on the ground, expect and just see how the back feels. So you will want to be able to take your arms overhead, so just getting the position for that in a moment. Okay, so firstly extending your legs. We've still got room for that. So extending both legs, toes to the sky, heels slightly, sense of pressure into the ground. So the legs are working, and so are the glutes and the front of the hips. Okay, so we're just going to raise one foot off the ground, and then we're going to external rotate. So toes out from heels, yeah, toes out from heels, and then just put the toes back in line with the heel and bring it back down. Rest and repeat. Same side. 3 times. But again, because we've done a lot of engagement, the engagement will be clicking in anyway. I hope for you. Relax. Second side. Lift. Externally rotate. Realign and descend. 3 times. And you feel again, feeling that connection between the leg and what's going on in the hip, what's going on in the glutes, what's going on in the front of the hip, into the belly. About 3 times. Okay, relax the legs and back, bring the feet back to the ground. Okay, so from here, we're just going to do one more thing and then just unwind slightly. So we're going to pick the feet off the ground. We're going to press the back into the ground. So I've got my palms facing down, might be difficult to see. And I'm going to take one arm overhead, opposite leg's going to reach away. So they're not going to quite touch the floor. I'm going to try and keep the back down on the ground. And then back to base. And other leg extend, other arm extend away. Lower back down. Feeling that link, maybe reaching away. And back down. On the side. Slightly extend away to feel that real connection. Keep the lower back down though, all costs. And back and to the side. Back. Feet down. Oh, well done. So that's quite strong. So just let the knees drift side to side. And sit up. And you're ready. Okay, so we're really trying to integrate legs and arms into the support of the center body. We're doing some extensions through our work with with Sphinx. So we have done some work through the spine, we've done some laterals. So we'll continue to play and explore and integrate and strengthen and lengthen. Okay, have a good week and see you next week.